That's it, YouTube. This is going to be a Skull Edition Polaris Scrambler 400. That's right, Skull Edition. I'm out here today, figured out we do some work in the garage, and I figured I would make some videos since it's been a while. I've got some new stuff in the garage, like that Polaris over there, and the one I just showed you with the skull. But the skull one, I'm going to go around and show you it and tell you a little bit about it. So let me flip the camera and we'll get started. So here it is. I'll pick this up probably back in the fall. It's been a little while since I've had it. I hadn't made a video. But this thing, it doesn't run, but it's all tricked out. It's an older Polaris Scrambler 400, probably, I'm not even sure, late 90s or so, maybe 99, 98. But it has some SS rims on it, nice tires. But this thing has got all kinds of parts on it. And yes, it is missing some stuff, and I'll explain that in just a second. I actually took that off. But when I got it, it had all these skull little heads for the bolts all over the plastics on the side. It's got, I think it's a 97s. There we go, 97. It's got these Nerf bars welded to the frame. I hadn't seen that before. Someone cut the other, I guess, footwells off of it. It's got this front bumper with these amazing headlights, I guess. It's got this rear grab bar added to it. Anyway, so the story of this thing, and of course it's got this skull. It's got some different handlebars on it. Yep. So right now the thing, it has low compression. It's right around 100. So it needs some top end work. The motor does turn over. Electric starter does turn them over as well. There's no spark plug in it now because I did a compression check on it before. So this thing was listed in Charlottesville, which is about an hour away from where I am, and it was listed for like $1,100. And I was going to get it. The guy told me on the phone he'd take $900. So it was after one of my kids' soccer practice. It was like 9 o'clock at night. I get to Charlottesville, and the guy couldn't get it to start. He hooked it up to his car. It wouldn't turn over, or it would turn over, but the actual motor wouldn't. The starter would turn over. So he ended up pulling the pull start off of it, and the flywheel was loose. And he thought he could just tighten the one nut on the flywheel. So he put a wrench on it, and you barely move the wrench and the whole motor would turn over. So I was like, something's not right. The flywheel, you could turn it by hand, and the actual crank with that wrench on it, it was super easy. So I was like, something's not right. I don't know what's going on here. You got me to drive all the way up here for an hour. On the way there, he was like, oh yeah, we'll drive it up on your trailer. And I get there, and something's up with the motor. So definitely he hadn't been running. He had told me he'd been driving it all up and down his driveway, and his neighbor could verify that and all that kind of stuff. Ended up, I got it for $300. So I was like, I drove all the way up here. I was like, I'm not going to pay $900. And he's like, well, could you take $5 and whatever? So $300 is what it ended up being, which I thought was worth it. The motor, it's got parts on it if it was something major, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. I've got these nice rims and tires as well, and a bunch of other parts. So the motor, the flywheel, and I don't have the flywheel exposed now. The flywheel, I think the pin, or not pin, the key had broken, and I fixed that. It came with a box of parts. I'm not sure where the box of parts are right now. It came with a box of parts, and in that box of parts, it was a couple flywheels. So he had some issues with the flywheels, or somebody did. So I put a new key in it with the flywheel that was on here, and the motor turns over. It doesn't have spark. That's one issue right now. And I don't know if it's because he's got this all rigged up with all kinds of wires spliced in here, and something's just not right. I haven't taken a whole lot of time to check it out, but it doesn't have spark. I was trying to turn it over, didn't have spark, so it didn't do any good. So I took the compression, and it was like right around 100, 110, somewhere around there. So I'm just assuming it needs rings. Hopefully not complete rebuild, but my plan is to take it off and take the motor out of this anyway, so I wasn't too worried about the no spark issue. But brakes work. The rear brake is off and kind of setting up in it. That was one of his complaints. But yeah, this is a skull. It's got a zip tied up in there. But the skull edition, never seen it. It's got these rims which work on this, but it doesn't want to work on the four-wheel drive one. I'll do another video on this one as soon, maybe at some point. After I bought the skull edition one, I found this one. This is a four-wheel drive. This is a little bit older. I think maybe 96 or 95. This one I was going to keep for myself, so I bought it. It runs. I figured I would take the parts off the skull edition and put them on this one and make this one nice. It's got nice tires. There's the tank from the skull edition one. I've already put that cover. I took the clutch off and put it on this one. I took all that off, put a new starter in it already, and then kind of cleaned up the motor some. Not perfect. This one I got for $1,100 back in the fall, and like I said, everything seems to work on it. What one issue it was having is when you give it throttle, it would take forever for the slide to go down. So I've got carburetor over there that I just rebuilt. That black and white seat, that's the seat off the skull edition. So that skull edition one was all tricked out with the seat cover and everything else. So I just wanted to show it. So I got this. This is the one that I was going to plan on taking parts off the skull one to make this one really nice. But new plans, I've got this one as well. So here's a Scrambler 400. This is a newer one. It's got newer electronics on it. This is a two-wheel drive. Let's see here. It's got aftermarket exhaust. I guess the end of it, not the full exhaust. Let me pop this seat up. Let's see if I can tell. Here it is. All right, I don't see the date on it like the other one had it. I'm sure it's somewhere around there. It's a newer one. The electronics are newer, so I know that. But I don't see the ear right offhand. Anyway, I got this one for $200. It's got the front bumper. It's got these little guards, aluminum guards on the A-arms. The problem with this one is the motor is completely locked up. So the motor does not budge at all. I don't know why. I haven't messed with it. So my new plan, the main issue with this one, other than the motor, is this big chunk taken out of the plastic and the wheels. But my plan is take the skull one apart, since they've done all this extra work to it. I don't want those Nerf bars, the bumper, or anything. Take those wheels, put those wheels on this one, take those rims, which are nicer rims, and probably put on the four-wheel drive one, because the four-wheel drive one has mismatched rims. Then we got a silver one there and a white one up front. So the rims from the red one are going to go on the four-wheel drive one with the knobby tires. These SS rims are going to go on the red one, and then this motor is going to come out. I'll probably take the flywheel off of this one, since I don't know what's up with that other one. I don't know if the flywheel was bad or what, but flywheel is coming off this to go on that one, hopefully. And then that motor will go on this one, and then I can take this motor apart from the red one and figure out what the deal is with it. So that should give me a bunch of parts from the skull four-wheeler to fix this one, and a couple extra nice parts to get this one straight. Like I said, this one also had a rear brake caliper issue, but I bought a rebuild kit for it, so I just need to do that, get the carburetor back on, and this thing is pretty much ready to go. Some other odds and ends like this lights up here, the neutral lights and stuff don't come on, so I might be able to get those parts off something else. But yeah, pretty cool. I say it all the time, I need to get some more videos going, but life has just had me really busy with 3 kids that are now teenagers, and sports and traveling and all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned. Hope you liked all the mods on the skull. Maybe skull four-wheeler. Maybe you can get yourself one of those skull shifters, and maybe some of those Nerf bars and stuff for your Polaris. Let's look. Here we go. Got a shifter here. We got the Nerf bars that have been welded on. I mean, it actually looked pretty cool in the pictures and stuff. When you get up close to it, you realize it's kind of junky. This front bumper's on there, but it's not actually attached all the way. But someone's project. But yeah, I figured for $300, the wheels were. I'm sure I could always take those off and sell them if I needed to. But I'd like to use them, put them on something. I took the front ones off and tried it on the four-wheel drive one. I was like, I'm going to put them on the four-wheel drive one. But the difference is that this one, since it's four-wheel drive, the front hubs stuck out too far in the center caps of those other rims. So if I wanted to use those SS rims, I wouldn't be able to use the center caps, or maybe they make different center caps. But I decided against it. So, all right. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you next time.